Hi there, my name's Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is Monday, December the 13th. We're getting so close to the holidays. Do let me know how you're getting on in the chat and if you've selected your holiday gift as yet. Without further ado, let's bring on my guest today, who is Maury Rich. How you doing, Maury?
I'm doing very, very well, but I feel I'm so busy. There were like 10,000 things to do today. Excuse me, and I'm just glad I'm here on time for this show.
10,000 things. What could he be talking about? Perhaps someone will tell us in the chat over there. Let's see who's joining us today. Jim is here. Says happy holidays from Vermont. There's no snow in Vermont today. David Belcher says hi to Mark. Mark Strain, good to see you. Are you new here? If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell for future videos.
Yep.
So it's good stuff. Wish you all had a shop out here in Southern California.
I do too.
Well, Maury, it doesn't actually matter because Maury does internet sales. And I don't think he's having customers in the store right now anyway. So it doesn't actually matter if you're in California or Pennsylvania. Is that right, Maury? I
still want to be in California. That's right, but I still want to be there.
Okay. He may open a new shop there anyway just to be in the sunshine. You read it here. You heard it here first. Colin Butters says, greetings from the UK. Merry Christmas, everyone who does that sort of thing. Do you celebrate Christmas, Colin? Let us know. And Mark says, saving up for a 0016E and 009 15M Streetmaster. Do you mean the 000 15M Streetmaster? Or is the 009 a new model, Maury? A new secret model I've not heard of?
Well, I can't tell you.
If it was a 007, it could be the James Bond guitar. That'd be cool.
It could.
Bimo says, happy and merry all. Good to see you, Bimo. Oh, look at this. David Belcher, congrats on 10K what? What's that, David? 10K? 10K something? What is that? I don't know what you're talking about. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate it. Last night, the Metalhead Hippie played my duet with Peter Gregg. If you haven't seen it, it's on my channel, on his channel. And he got his followers to subscribe. And it bumped me from about 9,992 to 10,006, I think it is now. So I want to say thank you for everyone that watches, subscribes, likes, comments, and supports the channel. And I should be having that new thing. 10,000 means you can have the merchandise shelf on the channel. So you'll be seeing my mugs and t-shirts all the time.
Cool.
So that'll push me even harder to make some new designs. But that's not there yet. So I think YouTube may take a while to add that. But anyway, 10K is a goal I've had for many years, and I've reached it. So I'm very, very happy. So today will also serve as a celebration of 10K. So cheers, everybody.
Good on you, Aaron. Nice job.
Thank you. It's been great. And Jim, I don't understand this comment. Jim says, how is your thumb, Maury? What's that?
Well, I had a terrible accident last week where my thumb split open because of the cold. I know. It is shocking. That's what it sounded like when it's like everything I did last week sounded like that. It was so bad.
I bet it didn't sound like that.
Well,
I bet it sounded. I bet it sounded more like this. Oh, did I delete this? I bet it sounded more like this one. Come on, mouse, move, move. That sounded more like that, I bet.
Yeah, that's what I sounded like. Mother. So. We talked about our good friend Marshall had knee surgery, and that was taking some of the focus and some of the, the sadness away from me, which I didn't like. So I was really happy to see people like Rohith and David and some other people in the chat actually cared about my injury. So it's getting better. I've been using what they call guitar hands. It's a lotion for the wintertime, and it's almost back to normal, but it got so ugly. I had to put a thumb pick on last Wednesday, and it was terrible. I being a finger picker with bare finger pads, I have no technique, so it sounded like just a bull in a china closet, and it was a really bad week last week for fingerstyle guitar, but I'm almost better now. Thank you for asking.
What's it called? Thumb hands? Lotion?
Guitar hands.
Oh, guitar hands. I was going to say, You don't want your hands to turn. Imagine if your hands turned into all thumbs. Probably be about the same, wouldn't it? Just kidding.
Just say that that's what it sounds like.
Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Wow.
Where's that? I can't. Because I've only got 12 buttons here because I can never find the sound effects more. Here it is. There we go. And that effect is so over the top. All right. Well, we're glad you're feeling better and the thumb is healing.
Thank you.
So there you go, Jim. A quick update on the thumb. Mark says, sounding great, Maury. Grooving on. Colin says, yes, just noticed 10K. Great stuff. Well done. Thank you, Colin. Mark Strain, we're an awesome show, bro. Thank you, Mark. Vic G, hi, Aaron. Hi, Maury. Hi, Vic. Matthew Carver, congrats on 10K. Hello, everyone. Coffee is on and looking forward to the chat. Awesome. Mark Strain says, very new. Will do. Thank you. Yes, he does. Hoping to place an order soon. Here we go. God bless UPS. not everyone says that. Or is that FedEx they say that about? No, not saying anything. Not saying anything. Too late, already said it. Colin Butters. Yes, I do celebrate Christmas, but not everyone does, of course. Sorry, it's triple O models, says Mark. Mark, 0018 sounding great. Mark, maybe you'll change your mind on the triple O and get one of these instead. 10K. Mark, thank you for all your comments. This is great. Byron says, aloha from Hawaii. Very cool. Congrats on 10K subs. Thank you again. I was secretly hoping it wouldn't hit 10K when it was really close because I thought, well, once I get 10K, what's the next goal going to be, Maury?
20. Let's do
20,
it.
20, 25, 50, or 100. I'm thinking 100 in my mind. I think it might take more than a few years to get to 100K. Well, who knows, right? Let's stay positive. Merry Christmas to all. I love a Martin 0018. It sounds terrific. How does it compare to the CEO 7? We'll get into that soon. S. Willis. Let's finish saying hi to everyone. Thank you, Michelle. Congrats on 10K. Daniel Fritz just bought a 0028 Eric Clapton. Was that from you, Maury?
I don't believe so, but I just put a K&K pickup on one of those today, and I'm reminded how cool that model is.
That's why I asked. I saw the picture.
Good score.
Congrats, Daniel. Kookie's here. Hi, Maury and Aaron. Hi, everyone in the chat. Good to see you, Kookie. Patsy and Bernard watching from Suffolk, UK. And Michelle says, hi, Aaron and Maury from freezing Switzerland.
Oh.
So that's great. All right, let's get into this then. So I know about 0018s. I just reviewed mine on the channel, but I'd never played a 0018. I do know our friend Roeth purchased a used 0018 and loved it. So, Maury, what is a 0018? What's that body shape like exactly?
Well, the 0018 has a lot in common, almost everything in common, with the 0018. The biggest difference is just the size of the top. If you measure the top across the lower bout, this lower bout is a little bit smaller in that direction than a 0018, but the depth is the same, the scale length is the same, everything about the guitar is the 0018 except for the distance from here to here. And if you put them side by side or back to back, you really wouldn't notice unless you stared. This isn't really very far off. And ironically, they also make an 018, which isn't today's topic of conversation. But the 018, 0018, and 0018 are far more similar than they are different. And, logic would argue this is probably a little bit better for fingerstyle than the 0018 if you want to find the most clarity in the lower registers and the bass. Not that the bass gets in the way at all on a 0018, but even less so on a 00. And if you just imagine a 0018 with a more focused, subdued bass, mid-range and the trebles are all here, and it's really, really wrong to just, give you a black and white answer, say this is a fingerstyle instrument or a blues instrument. But if somebody was trying to compare the 0018 to the 00, I'd make a blanket statement and say the 00 strums better. And as soon as I say that, you're going to hear people that listen to the beginning of this show and think this strums fine. So the differences are subtle by design.
People say the smaller bodies are better for fingerstyle and don't strum as well. You're saying it doesn't really matter, are you?
Well, what I mean to say is that if you go from a 00 all the way to an O, the differences become bigger. But going from a 00 to a 00, the differences are pretty, they're within reason. And I don't think anybody would say that the 00 strums better, But to say that the 0018 is a much better strummer than the 00, it's kind of a diminishing returns thing. You'll hear it when you play them back to back if you ever get the opportunity. But this guitar is more in line for fingerstyle than it is strumming, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that guitar, like I said, I never played the 00, but looking at you hold it, it looks, I wouldn't even know. I assume that was a 0018. The difference is so small. I'm trying to, let us know in the chat if you've put these guitars back to back, because I'm keen to know why you would choose one over the other. I wish Roeth was here, because Roeth owns that guitar, the 0018, and maybe he could tell us why he went for that. You just wouldn't know, would you? You'd look at that and you'd say, well, it's a 0018. You'd have no idea. It's such a small difference. I don't know the exact difference in size, but it looks like a very small difference to me.
It is. Yeah.
But I mean, it sounded great in the intro. Again, I would have just said it was in the intro. If I turned on and saw you playing in the intro, Maury, I would have just said I was playing a 0018.
Maybe I should check. Would you be surprised if I did that by mistake? It's not, but that wouldn't surprise me.
That would have been great. I wish that had worked out like that, because that would have been a great clip for TikTok, wouldn't it? Well, actually, Aaron, it is a 0018. I got the wrong guitar.
Be right back.
No, but in all seriousness, I've never played one. You don't see these so often. The 00 is the one you see around more often, isn't it? I don't think I've ever seen a 00 hanging in a store. I've never played one, I don't think. The only thing that comes to mind is the 00 Earth and the CEO 7. So how does this differ to those two models?
Well, those guitars are built on a 00L platform, where the shoulders of the guitar are a little bit different. So those are also 14 fret 00, but the 00 14 fret 0018 is a slightly different shape than a 00L, which is used on the CEOs and the Earth.
Let's go with this chart. I don't use this chart as often as I should. This is my body sizes chart, which I took from somewhere, and then Spoon made a couple of adjustments. You can see the ones he's tweaked on there. He's added the F, the J, the GJ, which is the Grand Jumbo. And if you look on there carefully, I know it might be hard if you're on an iPhone to see those pictures. If you're on a bigger screen, you can see it clearer. And you can see on there the body sizes. So I can see the 00, there's a 00 12 fret on there, a 00 14th fret. And you can see the O as well in comparison, to compare it. And then I'm looking for the 00 as well. There's so many body shapes, Maury. It's crazy. I don't think that's everything either. I think there's more than that too. We were saying with Spoon. 00, where's the 00 14th fret? I don't so I see the 00 12 fret, 00 12 fret, and yeah, I think we need a new picture.
This whole thing looks like the bottom row of an eye exam to me.
Yeah, it does. It's not ideal, but anyway, you can pause that later on. It might give you some insight. I'm just trying to figure out really why someone would go for this over a 0018. I guess that's what I'm trying to get to the bottom of. Or maybe I'm asking, does it really matter? Does it matter which one you get, because the differences are so small?
I don't know, and I'm not going to be a good salesman or a rep for Martin when I say this, but I think the 00 and the 000 are so close. I'm a little bit surprised that they've both lasted this long in the lineup.
Right.
By the time you get to a Martin catalog that has all these guitars in it, it's the wrong way for me to think. But I start to assume, especially when production, takes such a hit, that they're going to circle the wagons and make all the most popular models. This only goes to prove that Martin must have enough dealer orders for both the 00 and the 000 that they don't cannibalize each other. But if you look at them back to back, I guess if I went shopping for a guitar and went online and a store had the 00 but not the 000, or vice versa, I'm not entirely sure which specific use case would make me wait. If you went looking for this tomorrow and it was gone, but that store had a 0018, I'd love to hear someone else's outside thoughts, especially you guys in the chat. What argument do you make where I wanted the 00, I really don't want that 000?
Yeah.
They're not far off,
Yeah, we need some people to chime in on this, because the difference seems so small. So let's take another listen then. Let's hear some. Actually, can we hear some strumming first of all on this, just to see what the strumming sounds like?
Absolutely. I have 10,000 songs ready, so you tell me what you want to hear.
Play the first one. We'll do them all. No, don't. Okay, yeah. I'm putting this to the chat. Why would you choose a 0018 over a 0018? Or why would you choose a 0018 over a 0018? Let us know in the chat. Bart says, congrats and hello everyone from Arizona. Good to see you, Bart. Kooky says, guys, Aaron's 0018 and Dazzo installed by Teddy is on sale on the Acoustic Guitar Forum. Thanks, Kooky. Yeah, no one's buying it. I bought it used. I'm selling it used. And it's got the pickup in there, which I would think is a cool thing, Maury, but I don't know. Maybe some people don't want a pickup in their guitar when you sell it used. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. I'm selling that one because I just got this one from some guy in Coaldale, Pennsylvania. It's actually a custom shop Martin, Maury. Very nice one too.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the unboxing of that did really well. And I was surprised because I feel like if I'd got the actual John... So everyone is watching, I've got an unboxing of this. This is a copy of the John Mayer guitar. And I feel like if I'd unboxed the actual John Mayer guitar, I'd have got less views than unboxing this custom shop version. Which I didn't think people would be as interested in that as they were. So it's either that or the fact that my cats make an appearance in the video. That got 1,200 views.
Cats did good in that one. I watched them a lot.
If you watch the very start of the video, I actually put this bar over the picture because as the grey cat is walking past, that's Lily, you can see her put her tail up and you can see her rear end. And I thought that's the first thing you see. And I thought, well, obviously a cat would do that to me, but I know someone's going to make those comments about it. Possibly you, Maury. So what I did to fix it was I flashed this up. So next time you watch that, check out my serious editing skills there.
I'm impressed. What about Harry? Wasn't that cat in the way?
He was in the box.
In the box. All right.
So check out my TikTok video of the cats playing in the guitar box. It's up to 10 million views right now. Just kidding. I haven't got a TikTok.
Oh. Okay.
But you wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, right?
No, I wouldn't.
The cavity size hits the sweet spot for me. Projects really well. 0018 is easy to carry. It is as big as a Spanish guitar. Roeth, I wish Roeth was here. Oh, here says the V-neck. That's right. Oh, Kooky has one too. Oh.
Oh, they have the V?
They both have the 0018V. Oh, and they love it. Okay, there you go. Well, if it's good enough for Kooky, ladies and gentlemen, we can end the show now. Done deal. Mario says, hello, Aaron and Maury from Miami, Florida. Cool stuff. Jack has one too. What is this? Secret 0018 club? I didn't know about this. Now I want one. It's also great when playing with a number of instruments. Won't muddy the mix. Oh. Wow. 0014 fret equals OM. Yep. Speaking of Spoon, where is he? Spoon hasn't checked in a while. Yeah, Spoon is now he's working basically, so he hasn't got as much time to hang out with us, but hopefully we'll see him in the near future. I miss having him on here. I have been emailing with him. I emailed him just today actually, and he seems to be well. Eric says, just bought 0018 and really liking it so far. So Eric, why did you choose the 0018 over the 0018? I feel like it's kind of thing where you would get either one depending what was available. I really want to know if someone here has actually sought out that guitar. Like Kooky, for example. Did you seek out that particular guitar for that shape? Or did you see it and you bought it? You must have bought an older one because it's got the V-neck, right? The one you've got, Maury, that has the modern neck, not the V-neck.
Right, but since it's reimagined, it does share the same bracing pattern. The only thing different from the 0018V and this current model is the V-neck, and depending on which year that they have the 0018Vs, either had a long through saddle that was glued in or a long drop-in saddle, but otherwise this is the same guitar sonically.
Big G says it's the same as the OM, isn't it? No, it's not. It's not the same. So the 0018 is a short scale OM, and this is the 0018. So this is a slightly smaller body shape. Yeah. 000 is the same as OM, said Kooky. Yep, you're right. And Eric has a 00 Bourgeois. It's a time monster, very loud. Yeah, small guitars can certainly be loud. If not loud, they can be perceived as loud. I actually did that test again this morning. I did the custom shop OM Engelmann from Maury's Music. I always do this. I put the phone down with the noise level meter, dB meter app, and I play and see how loud. So I just play 4 chords round and round 4 times as loud as I can and see what it hits. So that hit 100 dB and it hit 90 average dB. Now remember, this all depends where the phone is. If the phone is further away, it won't hit 100. If it's closer, it might hit 110. That's why a lot of speakers like Bose and JBL they can kind of fix, no, I'm not saying they do, but speaker companies can fix numbers and figures because they can say it's 150 dB. Yeah, but is that measured this close to the speaker or this close to the speaker? But anyway, I do it relatively. So I did that guitar, then I did the Rain Song, which is a bigger guitar, and it was like 1 dB not as loud. So basically the same. Basically the same. But in the room, this guitar sounds much louder. But I put that down to the fact that it is a more focused sound, Maury. Like, because there's maybe there's a bit less bass and scoop to it, so it gives more of a kind of hit in the face. So I think there's such a thing as perceived volume as well in the room. So I think these smaller guitars can have that kick, and I quite like that, actually. I appreciate that. Because small guitars aren't always necessarily, like, quieter. They sometimes have that kind of kick to them because they have a bit less kind of boom, maybe. And that's what I think that's what he was saying. And Eric says, I picked the Bourgeois over the Martin, but the 0018 is still a great guitar. Well, isn't the Bourgeois modeled after the Martin? I don't know. I don't know much about Bourgeois. I just always want to say Bourgeois when I see that. But I'm too classy to say that. Jim says, Novik, smaller body and short scale. That's right. So very comfortable. Almost kind of a travel guitar, isn't it? It's not, but it's getting that way. Like, if you don't want to go that small, but you want something really comfortable, I imagine this is the most comfortable guitar you can get, right? Simply because the body's even smaller again, and it's short scale. So, Kookie says, sounds deep, does not sound small at all. I guess you're talking about your guitar. That's cool. Cholarism, greetings. I've been here the entire time, but I was driving. Thank you for not watching us and driving at the same time. Jim says, a 00 would be easier on my right shoulder. That's right. I see a lot of people online selling dreadnoughts and buying OM or 00 guitars for that reason.
That's a great point.
It makes a lot of sense. It's sad, though, that I see that so often. I see it's a very common thing to see people with shoulder problems that are downsizing the guitars. I see that a lot. Byron says, sound much fuller than a similar sized Taylor. So do Taylor make a 00 shaped body? I don't know. Let me know in the chat. Jack says, OM and 000 are the same body size. That's right. But the 000 is short scale. And by the way, it took me years to learn all this stuff. So if you're new here, then, I mean, like I said earlier, just look at the amount of body shapes we have here available. So there's a lot to take in. Okay. We've got loads of chats here. This is great. So Eric said, I did prefer the 0018 over the 0028. So there's a 0028 as well, is there, Maury?
Yeah, that's the Rosewood version of this.
Okay. So I think safe to say we kind of split here with mahogany versus rosewood fans. Maury and I are rosewood fans. A lot of people in the chat are mahogany fans. And I think if we did a poll, it'd break out about 50-50, honestly. So I'm not going to even do a poll on that. I just know. Byron says, I agree with Byron. Mark says, so true. If you want one, either a 00 or a 000 and the shop has the other, I've seen people say, okay, I'll take it. They have no regrets. And that's exactly what I was kind of hinting at. Like, if you're shopping for one or the other and you see one or the other, as long as you like how it sounds, you'd go for it. Now, Maury, is there any difference in the price of a 00 and a 0018?
No, there's really no way to vote that way. It's just going to be the same.
Even though that body's slightly smaller, slightly less wood, it's the same price?
Yeah. That little bit of wood, that's the part of the tree that costs nothing, so they don't save any money on materials.
It's like when you buy candy with the air holes in it, and you pay more money for it.
Yeah, right.
What's that all about? S. Willis, good to see you here. To me, the double O is preferred because it is the ideal couch guitar. There we go. That's why I was right, even though I haven't played one. I already own an OM and a triple O and 2 Martin Dreadnoughts. There you go. It's a nice collection. So would you add the double O to that, S. Willis, or would you stick with what you have? Let us know. This chat is incredible. I love it. I could just sit here all day and read people's comments about stuff. It's so good to get their opinion. I would buy a 0018V over a 0018V. However, it was never produced. Aha. Only the OM18V and 0018 Golden Era were produced. Different animals. I see. So you wanted that V-neck. And I won't go down the whole neck rabbit hole today. We did that the last 3 weeks running, I believe. Sergio, good to see you here. David Belcher. Martin Cat Condo. Now, I've got to say thank you to David Belcher. David Belcher deserves one of these special sound effects. He sent me a $40 super chat before we started, so it didn't come up on the screen, unfortunately. I can't flash it up on the screen, but he did send me a super chat, and I really appreciate it. And David is such a great supporter of my channel. He's often in the chat before everybody else, every stream. In fact, when he's not there, we all get very deeply concerned for his well-being. And I think that's great, and I really appreciate it. And, you know, well, what else can I say? I really appreciate it. It's great.
Aaron,
great
can I take
stuff.
a time out quick?
What is it?
I want to say thank you to David Belcher because he sent me 2 monogrammed Maury's Music established 2003 tumblers for Merry Christmas. Way early for Merry Christmas, which is David Belcher's style. Thank you most sincerely, David. These are awesome. Lori and I are buying gifts for each other, you know, for a couple of weeks now. And we're always telling ourselves, you know, each other, if you see a box that came for you and you're not sure who ordered it, it's probably a gift that I ordered for you, so don't open it. So for 3 days, we asked each other, which one of us bought from this one place called, I don't know if it's Personalized Gifts. She said, it wasn't me. And I said, it wasn't me. And we had a fight for about a day and a half. I said, well, I know it wasn't me. So I just opened it. And then David sent me a nice email. You should have received your tumblers by now. And, you know, joking aside, thank you very much, David. The only problem is I told Lori, you know, what they were and who they're from. She said, great, we should take a picture with these with eggnog in them. You don't put eggnog in there. You put whiskey in there, don't you?
Love
Let us know in the chat.
Love eggnog.
Well, I want to know what the chat thinks. What should I put in this? But thank you very much, David Belcher.
David, that's so generous. But David, there is a potential design flaw in this glass that you've sent because we can see what's in it. So Maury can't sneak the whiskey in. As you may know, from every time he goes live with this cup, it's full of whiskey all the way to the top. And it's concealed, and he tells us it's coffee. It's actually whiskey. And he can no longer do it with your glass. He has to fill it with water or apple juice or orange. There you go. Look at that whiskey. Oh, yeah. That's a lot of whiskey. So, oh, okay. Green tea whiskey. Nice. So,
That's what's in here.
so we're so off the rails today. I love it. So, like I said, this is 50% of celebrating 10K as well, so forgive us. But I love that glass. But yeah, like I said, Maury, be careful what you put in there because we can all see it on your stream, okay? Sergio says, greetings everyone from gloomy and snowy Petersburg. All right, so just going to have to stop here and say, please play the guitar again because people are going to get very mad if they came here to learn about the 0018 and we're just talking and hanging out in the chat all day long. So we'll be right back with the chat after this message from the 0018. No, keep going.
I thought I was cut off.
That was like as you change to the bridge, the chorus. Are you not used to that, Maury? As you're playing at a gig and people clap halfway through the song? No?
Never happened. They don't clap at any part of the audio.
I said to someone at my gig last week, they said, thanks for playing. I said, no problem. So what was your favorite song of the evening? And they said, the last one.
Ooh, that stings.
That's a horrible joke. Eric already has 2 double O's. Oh, so that means you have an OM, right? That means you have an M, quad O. Oh, okay. All right. I wanted an OM18, but Sweetwater doesn't have one, and I like the financing. Now, I think Maury does financing. I think Maury's doing financing until the end of the year. Is that right, Maury?
Yep, it's a Martin-sponsored program. We can do 12 months, no interest. But that brings up a really good point. The OM18, speaking of Spoon a little while ago, that's one of those guitars. Let's take a look at the catalog really literally. They have a triple O, a double O, an O, but they don't have a long scale OM18. Wouldn't you think, and maybe this is me looking at it the wrong way, I would think there's a hole in the Martin lineup, and we often order a custom shop what would be an OM18 in both natural top and amber tone. I don't think we have anything in stock right now, but I'm a little bit surprised as a player. I can't take my dealer hat off and be a player and not look at it both ways. Why doesn't Martin make a double O and an OM?
Yeah.
That surprised you?
But yeah, they make the double O, which I rarely even hear about. I'm a huge Martin fan here, and I'm really not familiar with this model at all. And yet the OM is one of their most OM, most iconic Martin guitar there is. Like you could argue the OM and the Dreadnought, right? And yet there's not an OM18. Why?
I don't know.
You think they'd make an OM18 and then add the 0018, right?
Right.
I'm calling Martin right now. What's that? Your number is blocked. Oh. Okay. I'm not sure what happened there. Anyway, yes. Oh, so that's a Martin thing with the financing, is it? I didn't know that.
The promotion we're talking about, yeah.
So Martin are doing that. Okay.
Yep.
Until the end of the year? Then that stops. That's only offered till the end of the year. Okay. That's good to know. Is that something? I'm curious, Maury. So is that something they always do, or is this just a random thing?
It seems to have happened every year for the past several years.
Okay.
Sometime in the fall they'll begin it. It's a couple of month long program at least, but yeah, that's pretty normal. Yeah,
but I thought like as there's such high demand right now, I didn't think they would do it this year, but well, that's good stuff. Kooky was looking for a mid-90s 0016. And I saw a guy selling 0018V, went to the try it for fun and fell for the guitar. Yeah, he does love that 00 guitar. I gotta say, listening to you play that, it sounds great, but I can hear that the mahogany sound. I'm very tuned into it now, and I think it comes across the stream really well. And like I said in my review of the 00, I think the mahogany guitars record really well for that reason. Because they do have that woody, dry sound, don't they? Which some people really like that sound. I think with me, I started off with rosewood guitars, so I've got that sound in my head now, and I always gravitate towards the rosewood. But then again, if I started off with mahogany guitars, it would be the other way around, right?
Yeah.
So who knows? Oh, okay. Jack says, I ordered my 0018V from Maury, specifically for the purpose of using it in a church music group and found it to be extremely versatile. That's cool. So was that a custom then, Jack? A 0018V, Nick? Custom order?
No,
or
that was a production model.
Production. Okay, so Jack's been a customer for a long time.
Very good friend and customer. Thank you, Jack.
Byron, SPL standard dB SPL is supposed to be measured at 1 watt at 1 meter. Yes. But like I said, if you buy an amp or a speaker and they give you those figures, always look at the back page because it will always say at what distance they measured it at. And that's the difference. And none of my tests here are scientific, by the way. I never want to say that they are, but that app is a kind of a cool thing. Say you're at a music, say you're trying out 3 different guitars interested in buying, and you want to do that. I mean, for my tests, they doesn't really correlate. Like I said, some guitars to me, it's the app says they're the same volume, and yet one seems louder. So I think tone is more important than volume sometimes.
Yeah.
I definitely believe in perceived volume. So that's a good topic for a video sometime. Chazza, sorry I'm late. No problem. Good to see you here. Marshall's here. Triple O is 15-inch wide and 19.3 inches long. Double O is 14.3 inches wide and 18.9 inches long. That's the statistics figures I was looking for. Thank you, Marshall.
Thank you.
Skip says, I have a custom shop 0014. All these numbers. Why are there so many numbers in Martin guitars? I don't like math. 0014. All mahogany. Oh, okay, all mahogany guitar that I chose in the store for the comfort and sound. Wasn't looking for an all mahogany guitar, but really like it. Yeah. Okay, here's a question from Sergio. I'll put this one to Maury. What sets a good guitar brand apart? What makes a good guitar brand? In 15 words or less. No, I'm just kidding.
Marshall, are you still there? I think every, when I say every, I mean Martin, Gibson, Taylor, the big brands that I know a little bit of the other ones, they have their voice. Unless you look at a specific oddball in one lineup, Martin's got the 17 series, which I'll skip over. You can go play a Martin, play a few more Martins, and they have this Martin sound. I think what sets a brand apart is their, boy, it's really hard to not paint with a broad brush, but maybe, Aaron, would you at least agree with me that when you play more than a few Martins, they all sound like a Martin, even if they're different?
Yeah, I would. I always say this all the time. The thing that drew me to Martin mostly was the history. They're the longest running and oldest brand. 1833. All my favorite musicians play them. Paul McCartney, George Harrison. Not that these people haven't played other brands too. I mean, George Harrison played Maiden too, and no one really knows that. But Johnny Cash. They're very iconic. That history is really what really draws me in the most, which sometimes I think is a bit kind of shallow of me. Of course, I love the instruments as well, but it's for me, it's that history and the connection of all that really takes me into the brand. Yeah, I do feel like that's very superficial. I feel like newer guitar brands can be great, but I love the history of the Martin guitars. I think a lot of people here do as well. And even the fact that we can do all these shows week after week and keep discussing things and learning new things all the time, it's fun, isn't it? And it's very interesting. It's very fun. And for me, it's about the history. A good guitar brand, of course, as a customer, they've also got to have great customer service. They've also got to have good quality control. Actually, customer service for me is more important because things do go wrong with any brand. It's really how they stand behind their product, right? I had to call up today to get a refund on a TV over Black Friday. A TV was on sale, and then this week it went down $100. And it's impossible to get in touch with this store to get that $100 back. You had to end up sending a message through Twitter or something. It's just crazy. So, I like brands with really good customer service. I think that's really important. And with Martin, I like the instruments. You have to like the instruments. You have to like the product. But I think it's also the people there and for me, with Martin, it's the history. So let us know in the chat what you think. What do you think makes a good guitar brand? That's a whole video in itself, isn't it? Jack says it's comfortable enough to get through several hours of practice with the band without fatigue. So that's why I bought my GBC 28 from Maury, because I used to play, and I still have it, a dreadnought with a cutaway, but I wanted something even smaller because the gigs I play at the moment are 4 hours, and I take a 15-minute break in the middle, and that's pretty, that's no small feat to be standing there for 4 hours. So I'm not saying the GPC versus the dreadnought cutaway is a huge difference, but it's enough of a difference to notice it. And you really notice it when you go the other way. If I took the dreadnought, that first gig back with that dreadnought, I would notice it the next day, definitely.
Yeah.
So I think comfort is very important as a performer. A lot of the body shapes thing goes into the size of the player, the kind of gigs they're playing, and the style of music they're playing as well. There's many factors. Aside from the tone that it gives you naturally as well, of course. Old says, I imagine 00 very close in size to a classical body. Is that right?
Probably.
I'm not sure. So Marshall, let us know in the chat. Mark says 00 is really comfortable. That's true. Okay. Bart says Taylor comparisons the 00 Martin would be their grand concert. I thought the grand concert was more like a Martin GPC. And a Martin GPC is much, or a Martin GC, which is a Martin grand concert is much bigger than that guitar, right, Maury?
Yeah,
it's
you might
deeper.
be thinking of Grand Auditorium.
Oh, I am. Yes, I am. You're right. Okay. So not as familiar with the Tartan. I said Tartan. That's a cross between Taylor and Martin. Not as familiar with the Taylor sizes as the Martin sizes. Tartan would be... Maybe that's Tartan or Mailer will be my next brand that I create. Mailer, I like that. Old says Rosewood. Tartan, yeah. Tartan.
Can you say tartan one more time so I could record it for my
I know you're going to put it. Tartan. Maury, put this on your show. I'm going to come there and find you. Okay, you put that on your show. I've been practicing my guitar more and wanting to join a band. That's awesome. Apparently, that's why people play guitars, to make music and join a band. How novel, Maury. Just kidding. That's great. I've been practicing more too. Yeah, it's always good to do that. S. Willis says, absolutely. David says, you're welcome, Maury. Enjoy. I can't do this anymore. Everything I say now on this stream, I'm worried he's going to sample it and put it on his show. I don't want to talk. I'm not talking anymore. Maury, you got to do the rest of the show by yourself.
Let's be honest. I say that. I talk a good game, but Clayton's the one that takes all those sounds. It's not me.
Oh, dear. Wow, that's so cool, David.
Yeah.
Yes, these little things, they are a special atmosphere. You're welcome. I'm behind now, so I'm not sure what we're all talking about. You're welcome, Maury. Enjoy the glass. There we go. I'll send you something to put in it. Oh, there we go. There's an offer.
Oh, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Okay.
Eggnog with whiskey added. For now, you're talking Mojo 67.
You got to remember, guys, I'm in retail. I deserve a little bit of drink, like at the end of the day. I'm not going to abuse it, but to do this job completely sober every day of the week, every hour of the day, I don't recommend it. I do not recommend trying to be customer service and retail oriented and not have some kind of escape somewhere. That's all.
That's the secret to business, people. David Belcher says, Soundhole Sniffer Cozies.
Yeah.
Chalerism has a GP18E. It's all about the bass. Yeah, they do have... Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of bass, though. I like the OM, the tightness of the OM. I don't know. But as someone who's 6'5" almost, I also like the slightly larger body of the GP. But then again, I used to play a travel guitar, and that was like my thing. So I don't know. What do I know? Just buy them all. That's my next T-shirt. Buy them all. Old says W30, rum with a shot of egg. Okay, this is becoming like a Christmas party now. What's happened to our stream? We're completely off the rails here, people. Let's get back to Martin guitar. Alan Coleman, just got to hear, just seen it. Congrats for 10K. Sorry, Maury, this has just become the 10K episode now.
It should be. That's a great feat. I'm impressed.
Yeah. Sergio says, I've got a steam train on my whiskey glasses. That's cool. Put Irish whiskey in the eggnog. What's... Christmas party! Okay, here we go. We've got a guitar comment now. Good. And a cat icon. Yes, look at that. Awesome. See that? Sitka seems... That's a nice looking cat, actually, I've got to say. Sitka seems like a nicer compliment for the dry sounding mahogany. Oh yeah, Sitka top, don't forget. Mahogany back and sides. My Addy mahogany guitar is a bit too snappy and metallic sounding. Maybe different pins would help. I already switched to ebony. Well, Maury has a wide selection of pins available, so give him a call and he'll advise. Mark Strain says, nah, fill the little tumbler with whiskey and say it's tea. This is terrible. Dean Martin did just the opposite on his TV show. Well, Dean Martin did a lot of things we can't talk about on the screen. Maury plays my favourite... Me too. Oh, I wish I could go back to be a singer in the 50s. Can you imagine? Wow. Maury plays my favourite song again. That's October. That's a great song.
Thank you.
Mark Strain. Well, Maury, you really showcased that Martin's tone so well. Oh, Alan Coleman subscribed. There we go. There's David's super chat. See? Thank you, David. Very generous. Appreciate it. And Alan Coleman, thank you for subscribing to the channel. That's great. Yeah, it's right across my head. I'm going to leave it there because I'm proud of it. Wow, Maury, we make that guitar sound great. It does sound great. Old says, would be great to hear a double O against a triple O to get a frame of reference. That's a great point. I don't know if Maury has a triple O in stock. I think he does.
I might.
Now, if you have the O, the double O, and the triple O, Maury, you should record a video this evening comparing the three back to back.
Well, I don't have the O, so I'm out of that problem. But I might already have a video on YouTube about the double and the triple.
Okay.
I might.
Wish we had a 0017L to compare. Oh, Lee is here from St. Lucia. St. Lucia. They went on holiday on vacation and they chose to go to St. Lucia rather than Coaldale, Pennsylvania. I don't understand myself. I thought they were coming over here.
Stupid.
I know, they went to there. I don't think there's even any guitar stores in St. Lucia.
Well, they'll find one if there is.
Gongcast. Haven't tried a 00, but played a Guild M120 short scale mahogany that made a lasting impression. Curious to play a 0015M and see how it grabs me. Mike Bowers. Hey crew, I know this is off topic, but any thoughts on an OME Cherry for a worship band setting? I love the OME Cherry. I played one at NAMM, and I think that's what Clayton plays too. And they're great guitars.
He plays an OMC 16E Cherry.
They still make
similar,
this.
yeah.
They still make this model, Maury?
Yeah.
They do? OME Cherry. Yeah, I think they're great. Like I said, I played one amplified. It sounded really good.
I agree.
Do you have one of those in stock? The OME Cherry. Oh, is it? No, where is it? OME Cherry. OME Cherry. Let me see. Coming in April 2022.
Yeah.
So you got time to think about it. No, seriously, I played one at NAMM. When I played for Martin. It wasn't for Martin. It was from someone from Martin at a NAMM thing, like an event. And it was so funny because I was going to call. I've told this story before. I was going to call him up and say, "Yeah, so can you bring me up a GPC Anthem 12 gauge strings? Can you give it a clean before you bring it?" No, I'm just kidding. But I was wondering. Oh, this is important for me. I want to impress them. So I wonder what guitar they're going to bring up. I don't want to bring up like a backpacker. Not that they would, of course. But of course, my mind went straight to what's the pickup going to be in the guitar. And he brought up the Cherry guitar. I got to say, it was really cool. It's great. Yeah, it's the only time I've ever played it. But what a great way to try a guitar in a live gig environment. And it worked really well. So to answer your question, how will that work in a worship band? I'd say really well. So yeah. Check it out. David Belcher. I wonder why Martin doesn't make an M-style mahogany. Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of into the whole M-style thing, but I want them to make one, or I would design a custom with the vintage tuners and maybe a cutaway. I think there's been some custom artist models like that. But I don't know why they don't do more kind of M-style. To me, they seem like ideal kind of stage guitars. Yeah. Of course, the question for me is what they do next with the SC guitars. Someone put a comment on their Instagram the other day in the UK about, are you going to do more with this model in the future? And they said, stay tuned. Yeah. So that's exciting. So we'll see which way they go with that. I see Maury biting his tongue there. He's got some information he's not allowed to share with us. Yeah. Quick, send him that eggnog whiskey. He might tell us some secrets. Alex, Mike Bauer's probably a good choice. Affordable, included the pickup, and Cherry is less finicky when amplified. Yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah, I'd give that a recommendation. The last song was the best. Doesn't beat when you ask for requests and someone says, "Can you play Over the Hills and Far Away?" Yeah. Yeah. Or my friend used to shout to me, "Play something you know." Rather than play something we know. Play something you know. Don't discontinue the 0018, says Kooky. No, we meant the 0018, Kooky. I don't know, I'm confused what you mean. We were talking about the OME 18 doesn't exist. Yeah, I'm very curious as to why it doesn't. But Marshall says the 0018 has been in Martin's catalogue continuously for many, many years. So I guess that's why they won't take that away. They won't take that away from me. Jack Wickwire says the V-neck was a major reason on my decision to get the 0018V, as I loved that on my J41 special, which could have been called a J41V. That old V-neck getting people talking again. Actually, I thought about putting that on a t-shirt. Did I tell you this last week? I don't like V-necks. This collar, and then the V-neck shirt. I like V-necks with a guitar on the back. You heard it here first, people. Get ready. It's about Economic's perception. OM18 would dilute sales of a 00 and 000 version. Good point. Of course, all this does come down to business. Martin have told me themselves several times when I've said, "Why don't you make this so-and-so? We don't sell enough of them." There you go. I learned that from going to NAMM shows. Companies can't just make the products that I want. They've got to make the products that sell. Otherwise, they wouldn't make any more products. So that makes sense too. Mike says, "Thanks, Alex." Mahogany is a very dense tree, says Sergio. My guitar doctor has a 2000 Martin OM28V flat top guitar up for sale. What is a 28V? So the V is the V-neck, and that V-neck shape is, it's a chunkier neck than what they're using now on the standard series, and it's very, very divisive. We talk about it here all the time. It's probably the thing we talk about the most on here. It's the neck shape. Yeah. Yep. So that V-neck is literally a V. It's deeper. And some people find that not as comfortable as what they're using on the standard series now, which is much more comfortable in the hand. I would argue it's more comfortable for me, but some people like that V-neck. They say it's more comfortable for them. It's something we talk about all the time, and people are completely split on it. I used to be the same with the narrow nut. I gotta say, when I play this custom with the narrow nut, I don't even think about it anymore. I can switch between that and the GPC, which is a wider nut. Such a small difference though, Maury. The neck shape is more physically different. The V-neck is physically bigger, right? But some people find that shape more comfortable than not having it. But yeah, so Jim, if you're interested in that guitar, what you have to do really is play a V-neck like the Clapton and play a standard series reimagined Martin, and then that will tell you the answer. I keep looking at the Authentics, but they have the really big V-necks, and I don't like V-necks, and yet I still want an authentic Maury because I like the idea of a really traditional Martin. But of course, a really traditional Martin is going to have that V-neck. Yeah. So then it comes down to, can you adjust to it or not? At the same time, I was watching another channel this week, and they were talking about the John Mayer Silver Sky, and I said, "Oh yeah, I've tried that. It's got kind of a chunky neck." And they said, they kind of told me off and said, "Well, this person said I play so many guitars now. I try to get the most of the guitar that I'm playing. So if the guitar I'm playing has a V-neck, let's say for example you pick up the Clapton and it's got the V-neck, then you would adjust your playing to that neck shape and use it to complement what you're doing, right? Rather than just think, oh, I don't like a V-neck."
Well, to a point, but if you're uncomfortable, that's a different thing. If you can play all of them, but you have a favorite, but all of them are friendly enough that you don't have fatigue, that you can get along with. But if you play one neck profile that just is not comfortable, and it either increases your opportunity to get, serious problems with carpal tunnel or some issues, I think there is a point. It's after some point, if a guitar just is not comfortable enough to play, I wouldn't try.
I think there's I don't disagree, and I'm contradicting myself, but there's just two ways to look at this. I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that what is the point I'm trying to make? Like, I've seen people say it a lot, like on electric, like the shape of the neck can influence the way that you play. And so that's it. Some people will say a neck that's too thin can give them hand problems. So it's not just about a big neck is harder to play but sounds better. There's also other ways to look at it. Like a really thin neck can also give you positional problems that cause pain as well.
Yeah.
So it's... And I always come back to that thing of we get used to something and then we don't like the thing that's different to it. I better speak for myself, or I'll get in trouble. But like, if I get in the past, I know I've got used to things and not like the next thing. So I think it's good to try things long term rather than just make a decision straight away. Or I'm just trying to justify buying a vintage Martin right now.
Well, hey,
I'm not sure.
Hey, that's part of it,
Talking myself into things that I shouldn't do. Jim says, isn't the V for vintage on the OM28V? Well, we had this discussion as well. That was a while ago. V is for vintage, but that guitar also had the V neck, right?
Right, yep.
Yeah, so V, you're right, Jim. V is for vintage, not a V neck. But I think the model you're talking about has because it's a vintage, it has the V neck. So make sure you confirm that first of all. Sergio says, from what I understand, you need to know the history of the development of guitar music. Yeah, you don't have to, but it's good. I'm going to start reading more Martin history books soon. I've got some here. I just got to learn all these things and the development. But sometimes with guitars, it goes like this as well, Sergio. Sometimes things become like trends and fashions, and they swing around. That's why I'm interested to see, like, if the narrow nut ever comes back into fashion, because now all Martins now, apart from the OMJM, has the wider nut. But I wonder if in 10 years we'll be saying it's the other way around because people decided that the narrow nut was more comfortable. Like, is it desired by the masses more and better, or is it just a fashionable thing? I don't know. So when you opened Maury's music, did a lot of the Martin guitars have the narrow nut, like on the standard series?
It was the opposite problem. It was finally for years and years. It was why doesn't Martin make anything? I'm showing my age now, right? Martin, why doesn't Martin make anything 1 3/4? And everybody in the forums would cry, and then that's what they would say. I heard all of them do it, and all 10,000 people said that, and it was this recurring thing where you'd have 5 or 6 people shouting on a forum they should make 1 3/4, and then somebody would say, you don't know what you're talking about. This forum is such a small piece of the worldwide Martin, the people that are going to buy Martin guitars. There's so many more people that aren't on forums. This is such a small sample size. They'll never change what they're doing just for that. And that went on at least 10 years. I bet you up until 2015, 16, it was still really prevalent to say that most of the catalog was 1 11/16.
Well, how much do these things? No, like, I'm thinking now. Like, I was in a guitar store the other day, and people came in there, and they just looked at guitars. A lot of people buying a new guitar the first time don't think about the nut width. How much do you think? And we're going off topic here, so today's okay. It is what it is. But it's fine. This is the celebratory. I better retitle this episode 10K celebration, with a guest appearance from the 0018. How much do you think is influenced by other people? Let's take myself, for example. If I was just going into a guitar store and buying a guitar, I would probably look at it. I'd look at the price. I'd look at how it is visually and I play it, I probably wouldn't even think about the nut width, would I? How much of that comes later on from watching shows like this and reading forums and things like that, and then goes into our mind as an actual factor?
I think that's all over the map. I could honestly tell you a few years ago, and we still had customers coming in here, which was very rare anyway. We were prevalently online, and we might have seen 20 customers all year long walk in the store. So bear that in mind when I say these things. For every customer who came in to say, I like the narrow nut guitars, I don't want to see the other ones, there was another customer who'd come in the next week and say, I don't have a preference. What do you think? And then there were those people that if you tell them certain guitars have different width at the nut, they didn't even believe you. So I'm really curious. I would have to think the longer that YouTube and people like us bring guitar content to the masses, whether it's this show or any show that's entertaining and educational, I think you can make the argument these days it's easier to find out these kinds of things than it was 5 years ago, than it was 10 years ago. Yeah. Does that mean that the people watching buy into it? I have no idea. I'm sure I could still find people, if I would, even on our Facebook page or our YouTube channel and ask them, what do you prefer? The people that would take the time to reply, I would be willing to bet half of them would say it doesn't matter.
I think it is what it is, and I'm not belittling what we're doing here because we clearly all love to just hang. Like today, we're just enjoying each other's company and chatting openly anyway. But that's why I bring it up. Like, I don't have any real thoughts anymore about the nut width. And that brings me back to the thing about the neck. Because my Australian guitars, my Martin GPC and this new custom I got from Maury, all have different nut widths, I just take them, and I have electric guitar as well, I just take them all for what they are. Whereas if I only had two guitars with the same nut width, I'd probably seek out a similar one or think about it more. I have done in the past. So that's what got me onto the thing about necks, although I think necks might be a little bit more so than the nut width. But I was watching that pedal show, and they made a great point that when they get on stage to play, all this stuff goes out the window. So perspective is important too. I think it's very important to sit here with everyone and talk through the minutiae, which we do. And I think that's great. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. But it's also good to be able to throw that away sometimes and just play. Like when we play the guitar, just pick it up and just play it and play that instrument for what it is. Right?
Yeah. Can I put you on the spot? Say yes.
Sure. I got 10,000 now. I can answer anything. Just kidding.
So
don't put that on your show. I will get known as being arrogant.
What time are we at so I can record this later? All right. So when we could make the argument, it was probably less than 6 months ago that we were talking about the OMJM, the narrow neck, wider neck. You did have a preference not too long ago. What was your feeling when they put that Cherry guitar in your hand at NAMM a couple years ago?
Didn't even think
did
about
that fall in line?
I don't even know what that was. Are you going to tell me that's a narrow nut?
No, that's what I want to ask you now. Did you even know then or now what that was?
I have no idea.
Then that proves your point. This all goes out the window. If you have your preferences, but when you get to NAMM and the Martin guys want to hook you up with a guitar, I'm sure you certainly didn't say, I will not even play that if that's the wrong nut width. I know you didn't even think that, but I wondered after the fact, have you ever gone back to look? Did that fall in line with the preference you had, or did it not matter at all?
I was thinking in my head, this could make or break my performance, so this is a very important performance. And why didn't I bring my own guitar? But that was in California, so I'd already asked them, can I just borrow one from the floor? Assuming they'd let me choose the one from the floor. But when I got there, I realized, actually, NAMM is a terrible place for guitars. It gets really dry there. When you walk around NAMM, your skin just dries out, and the guitars dry out. It's really funny. By the third day of NAMM in Anaheim, all the guitars sound terrible. They're all rattling like crazy because the strings just drop on them. They don't humidify them. They can't, right? It's a hanger, right? You can't humidify that place. I don't think they even put them in cases at the end of the day with humidifiers. So by day 3, they're all like covered in grease and oil, and the action's terrible and not good. But of course, before the performance, I was thinking to myself, I want a good instrument. I want to perform my best. But once I started playing, all I could think about was the song I was playing. All that mattered then was, does it stay in tune and does it sound decent through the PA, which it did.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to give us all some perspective here. And this is my challenge about my own journey. And this is my journey too. I buy and sell so much gear, and I try lately to think about the good things of gear and not the bad. It's very easy for me to take any piece of equipment and find the negative in it and then sell it on, rather than find a piece of gear and look at what it does well. And I see a lot of people do that online too. Something gets released and they talk about what it doesn't have, what it doesn't do, rather than the good things that it does do. It's very easy to do that, especially if you buy something and spend a lot of money on it. Very easy to dwell on the things you don't like about it. So that's really the thing I'm on right now, and that's why I made that point about not getting hung up on stuff. Of course, I understand that some things are just not comfortable for people, not their preference. I get that, but I'm just trying to say, like, give stuff time, really.
Yeah.
Give stuff time. I think I'm still just trying to convince myself to buy a vintage Martin with the big neck, tree trunk neck.
Well, let's be honest. If you bought one of them with a return policy, would you make your mind up in the first 2 days, or would you want a couple extra days to do it?
I'd keep it right. I would keep it right to the end, and I would play it the whole time. But in the past, I've made mistakes of buying things, and it was sounding ridiculous, but I've bought some instruments in the past, and then for whatever reason, not played them much during the return policy. You know, if you buy something, you want to make sure you get it at a time when you're available to really investigate it and make sure it's the right thing for you.
Yeah.
Especially a purchase like that. So, or you just get a piece of sandpaper and file that sucker down.
There you go.
Right.
I would often tell people, if somebody would call me and say, I just got the guitar yesterday, I don't like the neck. My first thing to say is, have you given it some time? And people with an open mind will say, I don't know. You have 14 days. If you're going to be careful with it, and you don't feel like you're pressured into doing something because I told you, give it another day, sleep on it, try it again tomorrow. If after a couple of different days you're still sure you don't think it's comfortable, that's another thing. But somebody who'd break it open, play it for a few hours and say, I hate it, and you have 13 more days, it would just be my interest to see, and a lot of people in the chat as well, have you ever given a new neck profile enough time to really know you don't like it, or is it just a snap decision?
We get stressed too, because if, let's say we invest $4,000 into a guitar, straight away we're stressed over the purchase. Like, have I made the right decision? And then you receive it, and if you do think, I think, let me talk for myself. I don't want to put words into other people's mouths, but for myself, I'll definitely take it out and, again, look for the things I don't like in case I made a mistake, rather than look for the things that I do like. So, and then some people, and I've probably done it myself, just straight away, oh no, I don't like that neck, I better send it back straight away. Rather than, okay, I'm not sure about the neck, let me try it for a few days and see if I change my mind. Because we've made an investment, right? We want to make sure what we spend our money on is going to be the right thing. So I get it. And the neck probably is the most. So here we go again, talking about necks for an hour, even though I hadn't planned to. But the neck, and that's not even a V-neck guitar. Oh my goodness me. Mike says, I love these videos. Off topic, but what are your thoughts on the OME Cherry? My wife is looking for one. Oh, we just did that one. Sorry.
Huh.
Yes, good
no, that
choice.
was a different question. Same guitar.
No way.
Yeah. It was a praise band question earlier. That's the second time OME Cherry came up. Now, two different people.
It's the same.
Is it? Oh, well.
No, it's the same.
Sorry.
That's the same.
Right.
It's just been so long that you thought
this isn't my show. I'm not even, it's not even,
Oh dear. Alex, Jim.
Are people still here?
V for, I think so. 10,000. V for vintage, a modified V-neck profile. There we go. Modified V. Thicker V shape. Almost all. So remember, there's a V and a V as well. Almost all have the through saddle, which is glued in rather than a drop-in saddle. There's another video there. Glued in saddle versus drop-in saddle. The V has the vintage appointments, vintage tone, a long saddle, and V neck. There you go. Pete D. I've got some new names here. We better put this on the screen. Good to see you here. Taylor Comparable is the Concert. Okay, I never played the Concert. I've only played the 414 and 814s. Sergio. Oh, yes, I think I've had these comments already. Hang on. Oh, okay. Consistency makes a good guitar brand, when you know what you will get even if you order without trying.
Very well said.
True. That is important. Jim's still asking about that used guitar with the 28 with the V. Hey, Jim, if you know the person and you like it, and it's less than it is on the market, then go for it. Oh yeah, Alex makes a good point. Check out, it doesn't need a neck reset and things like that. Yeah, with an acoustic guitar, see if you can get someone to check it over for you. Oh, but you said it was a guitar doctor, so I presume that's a good place to buy from. I hope so. Depends on the guitar doctor, but yeah, always check that out. Make sure the saddle has plenty of height in it, so you can change the action. All about setup. I saw it last week. Oh, it's all set up. Okay, yeah. Hey, if there's someone, if you can get the setup and check it out too, that's even better. To continue on the point of consistency, Pat Metheny said this: if his guitar gets lost before a concert, he can get an almost identical one at the local store. Yeah, a lot of people say that about digital gear now. If they lose their Line 6 Helix, they can just go and buy another one, make the same preset. If they lose their amp, another amp might sound different. Same with guitars, right? If you buy an OM28 standard and it gets broken, you can go out and buy another one. If you buy one-off custom from a small guitar maker, you can't just go out and grab another one, which can be a good thing or a bad thing, I presume. Mojo. Oh, we're back on the 018. Good. Thanks for putting us back on track. Does the 018 have the same issue? Oh, here we go. It's a question about binding. Shall we address this, Maury? I've seen this on Facebook this week about the binding coming loose. When I was at the factory, Martin told me that there was a couple of years, several years ago, when they had an issue with binding coming loose. And I presume that's the one, that they're the guitars that we see pop up online with this issue. None of the Martins I've had personally in the last 3 years, and I've gone through a lot and played a lot of them, have had, and I better just knock on some wood right now, because I'm going to regret saying this on my live stream. But no, seriously, they've not had this issue. So maybe Maury's a good person to ask as a Martin dealer. Have you had any customers with this issue, and have you got any insight as to why or when it happened?
We've sold a lot of Martin guitars over the years. We've had a couple of instances that I know about. That's not to say that it hasn't happened to some customers who didn't call us back, but maybe called Martin. But it's a very, very low number through our store. And what happened was the manufacturer of the glue, if I'm remembering this right, they changed the formula, didn't tell Martin, and a certain lot of guitars that were made with that glue eventually showed problems that would turn up later in life. It wasn't like they delivered them to the dealers and the problem was visible at Martin or at the dealer. Over time, the glue failed. So that's how that happened. And I mean, I don't know a lot more than everyone else, but the people that are popping up with that argument, it wasn't a D18 problem. It's not isolated to one model, but certain, and this is where I can't speak for Martin. I don't know how many guitars it was or exactly what time frame, but it was all the guitars built from this point in time to that point in time, because before that the glue was fine, and then after that they recognized the issue and changed it. So it was a manufacturing problem with glue, and ironically not even Martin's fault. They just weren't told that the chemistry of the glue has changed for the worse. So that's why that happens, but it wasn't isolated to a D18.
No, I saw a guy in Europe with an OMJM that had that. He actually ended up having the binding replaced with wood binding, so he definitely wouldn't have the issue again. But yeah, they told me that it was a certain year or like 2 years they had that, and then of course now those guitars are seen. So actually, going back to what I said about buying that used guitar, you should check that too. Check the binding. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, if you didn't buy it new, I guess if you, I'm not sure what their stance is on that because I've not had the issue myself. If you buy it new and you get the warranty, I know they don't really cover like obviously like humidity related issues. I'm going to guess they would help you out with that binding thing if you bought it that year. I'm going to guess.
And I'm told it's an inexpensive fix too.
Yeah, and I was going to say that if you've got a good luthier you go to and trust, I would just have them fix. I don't think it's not a huge. It sounds like a huge thing, doesn't it? Oh my God, the binding is coming loose on the guitar. I think it's a fairly easy fix for someone that knows what they're doing. So, but yeah, if you're buying used, do bear that in mind. Make sure you check all the binding over and be aware that that could be an issue. So I don't know. S. Willis says, I've come to enjoy the response of Addy tops. So we like Addy around here. And what could be better combining that with the tone of a Martin guitar? S. Willis, do you work for Martin Guitar? Mark Strain, it's Martin, buy them all! Yeah, you definitely work for Martin Guitar. Are you going to put that on your show? It's Martin, buy them all!
Now I will.
Michelle, Mojo67, is the binding issue still on? I thought it was something to do with the glue, but some years back. Well, all I can say, Michelle, is, like I said, I've had a lot of guitars through here the last 3 years, and I've not had that binding issue. Admittedly, I don't think I've had a guitar around for more than, like, I think the GPC is like 3 years old. That's the longest one I've had around. But I've not had it. So I'm so scared to say that, because once I say that, I'm probably going to have an issue. Such is life. But, you know, I haven't. And like I said, as far as I'm aware, that was at a certain time. I'd be very interested to know if any guitars from this year or last year has any binding coming loose. Yeah, bearing in mind, of course, that issues do happen as well. Again, I mentioned earlier about customer service. Hey, you know, that could happen as long as they are willing to fix it. That's fine. I got to get my Fender guitar. It's got fret sprout, and it's had it since day one. So I don't consider that my fault. And I'm interested to see if they fix that under warranty or make me pay for it. Like I said, it's wood, right? Things happen. I don't mind, but it's, for me, it's, does the company stand behind the product and help me out, or do they say you got to pay for it yourself?
Yeah,
they're the kind of things I'll talk about on here. So no, it's not been an issue for me, but do bear it in mind, especially with a used guitar. Make sure you check it if it's from a few years ago. All the hotels were full in Coldale. I think a smaller pickguard would look better on a double O. Would not keep me from buying one, but I would probably put an OM size pickguard on it. Why should Lee go to PA if he isn't allowed to buy a guitar to take back? He is. His wife is the biggest guitar buyer that we know of. That's certainly not an issue. Mojo67. Michelle, issue may be fixed. I just see it quite often when looking at used. You see it in person? I only see it online from people talking about it. Mike Bowers says, awesome. Thanks, Aaron and Maury. You're welcome. David Belcher, I have seen a Quad O mahogany Martin. Lee says CEO 10 is an SC45. That'd be cool. Mark Henry, question for Maury. Can any of the sinker mahogany from Martin be ordered? Can we order a custom sinker from you right now?
Yes, sir. Martin is accepting orders for sinker mahogany these days. That is absolutely something that you could spec out.
Or you can just buy a regular D18 and put it in the bathtub, but then you will get binding issues. That was a joke. Don't do that. Don't put your guitar in the bathtub. That was a joke. David Belcher, the only Quad O mahogany Martin I've seen is the Steve Earle custom shop model, not available to the public yet. Yeah, we've heard about rumors about that. I better let Maury answer this one. How many ice cubes would you put in a 2-finger whiskey glass?
Maybe 5.
Yeah, the answer is 5. Not 10,000? 007 has been a long time, 007. Good to see you again. 0018 is my absolute favorite model. How about that? Oh, wow. Unfortunately, I never bought it because I fell victim to a scam the last time I tried it and lost the money. It's now my hate guitar. Well,
oh,
that's horrible. Sorry, 007.
Wow.
Oh. Jasper, a long time as well. On a scale from 1 to 10, how much does VTS high glue and sinker wood make on a Martin? Is it worth the money? I don't know, Jasper. That's another reason I want the Authentics, because they use that hide glue and the VTS. Actually, in VTS, I've played a few guitars that the only difference is VTS. I'm not sure that that's a big thing for me, but I'm quite attracted to the hide glue and things like, I mean, not sinker mahogany, because I'm more of a rosewood fan, but these things like sinker mahogany, high glue, VTS, long glued in saddles. That does appeal to me. But how much of a difference it actually makes without changing each thing individually, we don't know. I think personally, Maury, I think all those things together will make a difference, and that really appeals to me. Well, how would you answer Jasper's question? How much does VTS high glue and sinker wood make on a Martin? Is it worth the money? I mean, that's a personal question, isn't it?
That the last part is going to be a value oriented thing, and a personal decision. But VTS is very noticeable. Hide glue is very noticeable. The two together, even more so. And I can speak to that point from hearing stuff myself in person and from being close friends with some guys who have passed through the Martin R&D department and or currently work in instrument design. That's a big difference. And it's whether you like it or not, it's very noticeable. Sinker mahogany, I've only ever heard a couple of them briefly to test them out before they shipped. But I have heard, I think I was telling Aaron this a couple of weeks ago, I have yet to hear anybody not completely gush over sinker mahogany. So that I can't speak from experience, but I have not found anybody who's not in love with it when they hear it. So I think all those things, is it worth the money? That's hard to answer, but you would certainly notice the difference if you added them to your build.
That's such a tough question. Is it worth the money? That's such a personal decision with this stuff. It's worth it if you decide it's worth it. That's such a cop-out answer, but it's so true. Like I always talk about the psychology. If I had an actual 19 Golden Era Martin here right now, and it was $30,000, but it made me feel this incredible feeling and connection, and that's such a personal thing. Like someone can easily say, well, that's not worth it. You could have bought a car with that. But if it's worth it to you, that's the thing. I think that's the answer. Don't ask me and Maury if it's worth it. And I'm not going to say it is or it's not, and that's not a cop-out answer. I'm going to say it's not worth it, but it's definitely something. You're going to put that in your stream as well. I know. No, I'm just you got a very comfortable place on that fence, Aaron. What we're trying to say. Let me rephrase my answer. I almost guarantee that you wouldn't play two guitars. One is white glue and a regular Sitka top, and then compare that to a hide glue VTS Sitka top. There's no way you won't notice the difference. It's very unlikely for you to say I played both of them and it's not a big enough difference. You will certainly recognize a very big difference. Ironically, you might find that you hear a very big difference and prefer the less expensive version. So in that case, the part about being worth the money is totally you. I have two minds of this stuff, because today I was playing this guitar, which I think is great, and then I played the Rain Song, and I thought to myself, the Rain Song sounds great, and I reminded myself that there's no wood or bracing or anything in that guitar, so all my thoughts about those things kind of goes out the window, because it's just carbon fiber. That's all it is. With these kind of guitars, I get very caught up in the materials and the bracing patterns and these things, but I think that's fine. I enjoy it. That's what I'm trying to say. With I'm sure I keep talking about vintage Martins. I'm sure there's vintage Martins that don't sound as good as a D45 you have at your store, but something in my mind wants a vintage Martin. So I'm always riding this wave of the emotional connection and what's actually worth it. You understand what I'm trying to say?
I think so.
I think there's guitars. Just because something has Golden Era bracing doesn't always mean that guitar will sound better than a guitar that doesn't. But if it's something that you want and you like that guitar, that's a good thing. I'm really contradicting myself, but I really live in both places. I can appreciate everything, and I definitely think so. What Jasper's question was I don't know about Sync. I haven't really played it. I just know George Gruen talks about how wonderful it is. Then again, he ordered a bunch of guitars, so. Sorry, George.
He would know, though. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I know. No, I know. I like that guy. He's cool. I mean, high glue. I don't know. I'm still wondering if a pickup in the guitar makes a difference. So I don't know. That's it's part of the journey that I enjoy. But it's also got to be about that guitar, hasn't it? It's got to be about that guitar itself. So it's such an involved question, Maury. It's such a deep question. Like, are those two things worth it? You need the whole context of that. And the real team backs up what I said earlier. I was actually had him in my mind as I said it. It says, I find thin necks give my hand severe cramps within seconds. Yeah. So I've heard him, and I think David Heidelberg said that as well the other week, that the really thin shredder necks can be too thin and they cause you to get hand cramps. So that was just playing devil's advocate, to be fair. Mark, you nailed it, Aaron. Martin makes what sells. Well, they have to, right? I learned that the hard way, Mark. I used to go to NAMM and I used to say to companies very enthusiastically, why don't you make so-and-so? And over a few years, I quickly realized that, of course, they're not going to make what I want them to make, because the only people that would buy that product is probably me. That's not a business, right? You have to cater to what you have to make what will sell. So, yeah, I learned that business lesson from going to NAMM. A 4.0 mahogany is probably something Maury can custom order. Maury can do anything. You can put that on your show. Maury can do anything. You laughed, so you can't use it though. My 0028 can with a choir of angels that sing low from the case. His 0018 from Maury's Music came with a choir of angels that sing when he opens the case. Well, why didn't I get a choir of angels with my guitar, Maury?
Because his is an amber tone. Thank you again, Mark. And yes, we do try to stock some quad O in mahogany and rosewood, in V-neck and modern neck. But I don't know if we have anything right now, but we do try to keep those here.
Actually, it's not true. I actually, when I opened the case for this guitar, there was something, and I recorded it. It sounded like this. Yeah. And then it sounded like this. And I might even play it one day too. I've always struggled with Mehdi Ibanez shredder guitars for that reason. And he recently got a PRS DGT, which he's still talking about. Nice guitar. Lee's got to go. Dinner is ready in St. Lucia. Enjoy, Lee. From the doctor. Who is this doctor we're talking? Who's this doctor guy? I want to meet this doctor. The Y2K Martin is a vintage series model, and that means it's built internally along the lines of an original 30s OM28 model. Very nice. The narrow neck was preferred by fast players, less distance between the strings. That must be why I prefer it, Jack. It can keep up with my speed picking. That makes sense. Bimo says enjoy. They're talking about his dinner now. It's meant to be about guitars here. I'm not good enough a guitar player to worry about the neck width and neck shape. Byron, that's what I was trying to say earlier, basically.
I want to take offense to that, though. I think you know, this is me being honest now. If you think how well you play or how long you've been playing should affect your, I think you can be a beginner, intermediate, and not have a great technique or a great ear, and still benefit from picking something that is comfortable. And the more you play, I think you'll recognize that there's an opportunity. If you're not careful now, you might get stuck with a wide neck and find that you like the narrow neck later, and vice versa. So don't shortchange yourself. So when you got your V-neck OM28, Maury, was your previous guitar a V-neck guitar, or was it a slimmer neck guitar? It was not a V-neck. I had a Martin D1 long before the. This is back in the mid '90s, which back then it might have been called a low profile neck or low oval, but not modified. And then I did graduate to the modified V-neck on the OM28V was my first encounter with that. So no, I got back then. I didn't know what to ask for and what to look for. There we go. So you went through this yourself. You got the V-neck, and you didn't ask Laurie to change it for a non-V-neck. No, I didn't have that shirt. Most of the 15 series has narrow nut. That's good to know. GPC 15s have 1 3/4. Cool.
It's interesting because like the Taylor 100 and 200 series has the narrow nut, and they say it's because students learn on them. That seems very much of a generalization to me. I don't know. The 0015M still has the narrow nut. I can't feel a difference to my standard series. Huge difference with the V-neck. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I agree. More noticeable. The real team doesn't know the nut width of any of his guitars. Well, you should. Go and measure them right now.
That's interesting.
Uh-oh, Michelle says we better start talking about fretboard radius as well. Oh dear. Sorry, everybody. Tune in next week for another thrilling episode discussing the fretboard radius. Byron says that LOL, same here. I play everything from a thick baseball bat 12-string acoustic to a thin shredder Ibanez. That's kind of what I was hinting at earlier. And again, not my experience, from what I see of other people saying on their channels and forums and things. Some people just own many guitars and just switch between them and see the benefits of that guitar. And some people own one guitar or two guitars, and they're very focused on what makes those the right guitars for them. So I'm not saying either is right or wrong. I'm just giving observations. I switch between classicals and steel strings all the time, almost no problem. Switching to guitars with a very deep neck is a real problem. Yeah, and this really came to me from lately. I said before on the other week that I often play electric now. So when you switch from an electric Stratocaster to the Martin, obviously that's quite a big difference. I never think anything of it, because in my mind I'm thinking, well, I'm going from electric to acoustic. So that gave me a little bit of perspective as well. The Hippie is here. Hippie got me over 10K yesterday on his show. Thank you, Hippie. Go and check out his show if you haven't. He plays a lot of music. He'll just go live for hours playing music from YouTube, people like myself, and that's really cool that he does that for music lovers. And finally, he arrives just as we're finishing up the show. Hi all, my work meetings are over. I can only listen with one ear because I'm still working. Really wanted to hear about the 0018, my favourite model. Well, have no fear, Roworth. We haven't really mentioned the 0018 today. We've mostly read viewers' comments. I still haven't got through them all. Okay, so I really wanted Roworth to tell us in the chat what he likes about the 0018. Maybe he will do just before I finish. Mojo says, hi, Hippie. Hello. Okay, Chalarisms had two guitars with binding issues, both with a tortoise binding. One was a 2014. There we go. That's the year I was thinking of. OM21. The other is my favorite guitar to play, a GP18E. Okay. Oh, the GP18E was 2018. Okay. Poo Ninja says it's just glue and patience. Lots and lots of patience. Are you a luthier, Poo Ninja? S. Willis, love Martin and Boucher. Is it? I was going to say Boucher, but I really want to say Butcher. Sadly, I don't work for either, but could use the discount, I'm sure. I'll give Butcher a call. LR Bags in the house. How about that? I've got to give that one of these. Oh, where's my sound effect when I need it? This one. Woo, woo, woo. Finally, Maury, we have celebrities here. Look, LR Bags. We love Martin guitars, and Martin guitars love you, LR Bags.
Cheers.
That's great. I'll drink to that. I'll get him focused to that. Cheers.
LRB.
Cool
Represent.
stuff. Love it. I love it. Vic G, I've had that binding issue on 3 of my guitars. Oh dear. 2 OMs and 1 Dread, 2013 to 2015. That's the years I was thinking of. 2 were covered under warranty. 1 I bought used and paid $250 for the repair. So there you go. It's not a crazy expensive job, but it's it's definitely something to factor in if you're buying used. And it also depends where you live, because getting guitars repaired in New York City, believe me, is much different to having guitars repaired in Coaldale, Pennsylvania.
Sure.
Or maybe it's not. Maybe times have changed. I don't know. I did not mean that Lee's wife was opposed to him buying a guitar, but rather Martin's regulations about export. Oh, okay, sorry. He gets so much trouble today.
That makes more sense. Sorry, Rosanna.
I just ordered 00018, 12 fret with Addy top and sinker back and sides from Maury's Music.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Wow. So when's that coming in? Like summer 2022?
Probably next year.
Yeah. So I want videos and pictures, Trollerism. I hope it's as good as your last custom from Maury's Music. Everyone's saying congratulations. And Sergio's saying thank you. I'll put 3 pieces of ice in my whiskey. Do you know of anybody ordering a custom all single mahogany, including the top? Wow, that'd be interesting. You ever done one of those, Maury?
No, that's not something I've heard anybody do yet.
Poo Ninja, nothing wrong with geeking out on details. Of course, that's what we do here. That's why I made a YouTube channel. I'm not knocking it. Just I want to, I want to try and keep some perspective as well. So my lobbying for a WDW tube head would be wasted on the NAMM floor. Exactly. Don't try to lobby at NAMM with companies. I've tried it and I've been kicked out many times. No, they didn't kick me out. Jasper North says, do we all agree the K&K Western Mini is the best pickup for all Martins? No, excuse me, LR Bags is the best pickup for all Martins. And I'm not saying that because they're watching this channel right now. Actually, I am. Hi, guys. No, actually, in all seriousness, I really like the Anthem. I'm going to make a video soon, Jasper, which is... Wow, that's something we don't see very often. Better take a picture of that for my channel. That's something I'm going to make next few weeks or months or whatever. Like, I reviewed over 20 guitar pickups, and this is what I found kind of video. I do like the Anthem. I actually figured out the other day I have the Anthem in about 6 guitars, and it really works for what I do at my gigs. I think the K&K is a great pickup for someone... Well, first of all, it's a great pickup for certain players that want that, and our friend Real Ting will tell us that's his pickup of choice, which is great. But I think it's great if you want something very non-invasive, very minimal in your guitar. But the Anthem, with its 2 pickups for me, and the way it works in his voice, just works very well in the loud, noisy bars that I play in. And it works. Yeah, it works great. Is it perfect? No, nothing is, especially when I review it. But that is the one that works the best for me. And that's what my video will be about. But yeah, there's so many fans of that pickup. Hey, it's very impressive for what it is. Yeah. But I went live yesterday and I used this with Kuki's IR, and then I switched over to the Anthem in the GPC Anthem guitar, and when I listen back to the stream now, like the sound isn't a million miles away, but it's also about the feel for me. I like the feel of the dual source pickups. Anyway, we've already gone over time, and that's for another video. Jasper is half kidding because LR Bags are watching. I do think the K&K is a great pickup for what it is, but I'm definitely a Anthem user. That's the first thing I usually gravitate towards at the moment. Old says 00015 SM is an exception with 1 3/4 inch nut spacing. Great fingerstyle guitar. Roa says, what's not to like? Sweet, woody, balanced tone. Very comfortable. Classic looks. I also prefer the V-neck and wider string spacing on the 0018V. There you go. That's his review. Lovely little finger picker for the couch. They should put that on Martin's website. Byron, does Maury Guitars do setups on the Martins before they ship them out? He can do a custom setup if you would like him to.
Yep, and we do verify that the Martin setup is within spec. So if we get a guitar that should be in the tolerance from Martin and it's out a little bit, we do set it up back to the middle at no charge. We go over every single guitar with a fine-tooth comb, and Aaron can attest to it.
Yeah.
Please attest to it, Aaron.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Got a 0028 pre-imagined. It's pretty great. Love you guys. Wow, look at we got some real love today from people. This is great.
Thank you.
People I haven't even seen here before. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe, ring the bell, and don't be a stranger. Come and see us every Monday. Cholorism, my GP18E has an anthem. There you go. Jim says, from a British shop, Martin Custom Shop, all sinker mahogany, triple O, number 884. Oh, so you can get an all sinker mahogany in the UK. Okay. So you buy that and let us know what you think. Thank you. Josias Alvarado. Hey, Maury, do you have a 00018 in the room?
I don't have it in the room. I might have it in stock, but it's not here. I'm sorry.
Let me see if he has one in stock right now.
Maybe I'll do a video after the program's over and put it up on YouTube if I can find one.
He has a custom left-handed, sorry, a left-handed custom shop. So, no, but it says you're going to have one in December, Maury. So you're going to have one any day now.
Oh, good.
It's cool. Yeah, no, in all seriousness, all kidding aside, that would be a very interesting video to see a 0018 and a 0018 back to back. And Cholorism's binding issue was repaired for $150. That's what I'm saying. It really, I wasn't kidding about New York prices. It really depends where you live, who does it as well. Obviously, find someone that you trust. Maybe someone that's Martin certified. But yeah, I mean, $150 to have something fixed is good. David Belcher just found out K&K Sound is located a couple of hours from me. They're located close in Oregon. I might stop in sometime when I'm down there. Yeah, you should do. Zane, good to see you. Can you do Lying Eyes by the Eagles? I think you're 24 hours too late. I was doing the request show yesterday, Zane. And I did Peaceful Easy Feeling. Is that good? Is that close enough? Mojo, great show. Thank you, Maury, for joining on the fun. Got to go, everyone, later. I like the peace signs. It's cool, too. Zane, sorry, wrong message. What is going on today? It's been a weird one. I apologize that if you came here looking for the Martin 0018, I apologize that we didn't go into as much detail as we usually do. But Maury has one in stock. If you're in the USA, give him a call. All the specs are on his website. It's very similar to the 0018, which I've just reviewed and Maury's reviewed, and that's a great guitar. People love those guitars. This is a bit smaller, so if you're looking for something like that, you really can't go wrong. I think that's good. Yeah, don't forget we have many episodes of this show on my channel. You can go back and watch them. So maybe go back and watch the show on the 0018. And like I said, it's going to be, I'm not kidding, it's going to be very similar. No. But just, it basically is the same guitar, but slightly smaller, right? The actual bracing and the tuners and the materials are the same, right? It's just the body shape.
Yeah.
So I'm not even kidding. Jasper, love your channel. Fan forever. Oh, cheers, Jasper. Ever watched the channel of JP Kurama? He is world famous in Canada with many awards. Amazing info on guitars. Got to watch it one day. I will watch that. Thank you. Tough call between the 00 and the 000, says Roeth. I've played both and prefer the 00. Okay, there you go. So he played both. Now, Roeth does predominantly play fingerstyle. I don't think Roeth even uses a pick. And if you want my thought to come to mind, that would be it. If you never play with a pick, if you only play fingerstyle, I would say this might shine a bit more. If you do play with a pick, I think you could go either way, but maybe the 000. But then again, like someone said earlier, you could walk into a store, see both, or see one and have a mindset of buying either, depending on what they had. So,
yeah.
Marco sends us love and kisses. Marco, I got the Oasis Blu-ray. Haven't watched it yet. I just got it. I had it for a few days. I got to watch it. Zane, regarding the new custom, is it worth it, Aaron and Maury, please? My custom? Well, you have to wait for my video where I compare it to the OMJM standard. It's the old regular old standard series guitar, right, Maury?
Gotta wait.
As you're here, I will give you a little preview. I do prefer it. I think it sounds, to me, I prefer the sound of this one. And that whole thing about people not wanting someone's signature on the guitar, well, obviously this doesn't have his signature on it. So I don't really care either way, but some people say they don't like that. So I know I'm just very happy to have a Martin with the I love the rosette. and the glossy headstock. Although yesterday in the stream, of course, the lights were shining off the glossy headstock, Maury. So as a YouTuber, I really should own guitars with no gloss. But as a guitar fan, I love the gloss. So I'm really in a difficult place here.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah, Zane, it was worth it. And Maury has the specs. So if you want to get one, he can reorder one. Chalerism says, one more non-0018 comment. I played the CEO 7 a couple of months ago. Was shocked at how much I loved it. Yeah. I had one for a few months from Maury, Chalerism, and I really loved the guitar. I told myself I didn't love the neck, but maybe I did. Zane, thank you, kind of you. Welcome. Maury is bracing in 0018. Oh, is the bracing in 0018 a 1/4 inch bracing?
Yes.
And Poo Ninja says different lights.
Just film in the dark if your headstock's reflective, right?
Have we ever used a tone? I promise this is the last question, Maury. Have we ever used a tone right? Thinking of it, that's one of those things that I'd love to try. And the thing is, they say you got to use it for like a month. And okay, here's the thing with the tone right. I don't want to leave a guitar out of the case in the winter because it might crack. But you have to leave it out of the case to use the tone right. But the tone right takes a month to feel a difference. I don't know about that thing. I think if you can borrow one from a friend and try it out, you should do. I do think that guitars as they age sound better. I think you should just get a guitar and just play it and just wish the time away myself. But hey, I don't know. I haven't tested it to know. But that's the problem I have with that thing, Maury. I don't want to leave the guitar out of the case in order to use the tone right. You know what the tone right is, right? It's the thing that vibrates on the guitar and ages it, supposedly. It's like playing. It's like people used to leave their guitar in front of a speaker, which you could do as well.
Sure.
So that's my problem with that. I'd have to do it in the summer when I can leave the guitar out of the case. And I did reach out to them a few months ago to ask if I could review one, and they said that even they said it makes the biggest difference on a solid wood premium bass. I didn't say that, but a solid wood higher end guitar. Huh. So if you want to take a 0018 like this from Maury and run the tone right on it, I'll happily take your review from you. Or Maury can even do it for you by hand. Okay. Oh, but then David says, I love the tone right. I have 2 of them. What, do you use 2 at a time, David? That's pretty intense. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously on 2 different guitars. They work, he says they work.
It's obviously, he has one for 1 11/16 and one for 1 3/4.
He says they work. Okay, well, like I said, that's a video that I can make in the summer. Yeah. The problem I have, David, with things like that is that it's such a long time you have to wait. How I feel like I would forget. Like when I compare 2 amplifiers or 2 guitars, I find even those few seconds of switching is enough for my brain to forget what the first one was really like. So with the tone right, it's like, how am I really going to know how it really was 30 days ago? And also 30 days ago, maybe it was a different humidity, maybe the strings have aged. There's so many factors then in 30 days. So I don't know, I'd have to try it. I have to try it over a summer. Which would you prefer more? Wait 24 hours or check it immediately in case it was damaged, especially in UK? Well, I just had this with this guitar. So in the summer, I would open the guitar if it feels fine because it's the summer. In the winter, when this guitar arrived from Maury, it was freezing cold on the box. So I knew not to open it. And then even if you open it after a few hours, if the case is then cold, don't open it because you have to wait for everything to be room temperature. So with this guitar, because it's a custom and because Maury told me to, I left it 24 hours before I opened it, and it was fine. Yep. I think a lot of it is common sense, Zane. If it's the summer and it feels room temperature and you've waited a few hours, I think you're good. I don't want to say that and get in trouble if I'm wrong, but especially in the winter, if that thing feels cold, then do not open it. Also, I wanted to say this in my video, but I didn't want to sound patronizing. When you are storing it for 24 hours before you open it, don't leave it next to a radiator. That might sound really obvious, but that might sound really obvious, Maury, but right? Just put it somewhere where it's comfortable. Wait at least 12 hours. Make sure it's room temperature. Then open it because these things can crack. Hey, I know it's hard to wait as well. And Actually, I found it kind of easy to wait for this one because Maury told me. He said, "Don't you dare open that guitar." So I didn't.
Hey, it's harder to wait for the replacement guitar if your guitar's cracked. So put it that way.
Good point. David likes the tone. Okay, David, because you said that, I'm going to try one next year. We'll see. Zane says, twice had broken ones on arrival. That's a different story, Zane. Of course, that's a shipping thing. Could be a shipping thing as well. But in regards to opening the box, they do let it acclimate. That's the word I'm looking for. Jasper says it's not long at all for the tone. Oh, I heard 30 days, Jasper, for it to really work properly. I know Tone Right will sponsor the channel. Hey, if they want to, they can call me. All right, we have to wrap up. This has gone way too long. But I'm not saying that in a negative way at all. This is nothing without the chat. For me, the chat is the most important thing because it's people that are here sharing their experience, asking us the questions, and most importantly, hanging out with us. I have such a great time with this community. It's fantastic. We also get to see the guitars that Maury shows us. This one is fantastic. If you want to get that exact guitar, give Maury a call, and he'll sell it to you. And, oh, wow, David's going to send me a Tone Right for my birthday. That's fantastic. Thank you, David. I appreciate it. And then all I need is someone to send me obviously I'll need a new guitar to try it with because it's very important to use a brand new guitar, Maury, with the Tone Right. So
you'll need an LR bags in it too.
And an LR bags. So don't forget that. Colin says, bye from UK. Great info as always. Thanks, Colin. Appreciate it as always. Zane says, thank you, Aaron and Maury especially. Yes, been great. So, as we haven't heard much of the guitar in this episode, again, check out the website for full information, and Maury will play us out, and we'll see you here again this time next week, which will be the pre-Christmas show. Looking forward to it. Maury, thank you for your time. Thanks to everyone for watching. Thanks for everyone for subscribing and getting me over 10K. It really does mean a lot to me. It's so great to feel the encouragement. It makes me want to do even more stuff on here. It's great. And thanks for all the kind comments that are coming in right now. I'll let Maury play us out. Maury, please show off that guitar as much as you can, and then I'll end the stream. So thanks, everybody. See you soon.
Congratulations again, Aaron. Thank you, everybody, for making it a great show.
More. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye. I'm not